eruption continues between Pu'u'o and Napao Crater on Kilauea Volcano. Tim Bryan has the story behind the video that's seen around the globe.
By now, most everyone has heard about Hawaii's latest volcanic activity. This incredible fissure tore the earth open in the middle of the East Rift Zone not too long after Pu'u'o crater floor collapsed. Chances are, if you saw the video on world news networks, this was it. A dramatic helicopter flyover showing the new spattering fissure. If it weren't for the quick thinking of volcanographer Mick Kauber, chances are the world would not have these pictures to enjoy. That's because there is now a no-fly zone in effect over the area. Then again, Kauber has been doing this for a long time.
I got here right after the start of the eruption, the current eruption in 1983. I got here in 1984. The volcano has amazed me since the first time I saw it. It's an event that really boggles the mind. You can't really wrap your mind around the fact that this is liquid rock flying up into the air, thousands of feet, hundreds of feet or thousands of feet. When I first came here and the fountains were going off 1,000 feet or 1,500 feet into the air, higher at that time than any building on the planet, I couldn't conceptualize what was happening. It was crazy.
From his home, a safe distance away in Hilo, Kauber relived the day of the March 6th eruption for Big Island Video News while sharing this incredible video.
Saturday night I heard we had a fissure eruption going on up at Napao, which is the same location as the eruption was happening in 1997. My helicopter pilot called me, so we set up a time in the morning. We went out Sunday morning, the next morning, and shot some beautiful footage. We got really lucky. The fissure eruption was fountaining probably 80 feet in the air, maybe 100 feet into the air. A series of spatter cones is what it is, or spatter events, and a long curtain of fire, they call it. And it was absolutely outstanding. Some of the best material that I've shot in a long, long time. The fissure eruptions are a typical beginning for Hawaiian eruptions. They usually start in curtains of fire, a string of spatter events that settle down into one or two or three vents, and then form generally one vent eventually to feed lava flows for the term of the eruption. That's what happened when Pu'u'o first started. That was the beginning of the Pu'u'o vent.
Kauber says these are the moments that inspire his continued work documenting the island's awesome volcanic activity.
The most gratifying part of my job, it is the most gratifying part of my job, that we get to share these images with the world. We are so blessed to be able to share this magnificent spectacle of Kilauea Volcano with the rest of the world. And the pictures that we saw went around the world. We've already gotten reports of people seeing our footage as far away as England and Italy, and that happens on a regular basis because we sell to Associated Press Television News and Reuters. They feed the international community as well as all the mainland networks, CNN, ABC, CBS, all those guys. So, and the local people as well. We really send it to everybody, and it's really been amazing. I love it when this happens. It doesn't happen all that often, but when we get something good, and I don't call these guys unless we get something really good. They know that. You know, I don't call them when I've got something mediocre. I only call them when I've got something that's really, really good, and they appreciate that. So when this kind of thing happens, of course, it's very exciting for us. We love this. This is the best. It's really the most visual and the most exciting thing that goes on with the volcano these days. It's just absolutely hypnotic. You can't take your eyes off of it. Even, you know, as long as I've been shooting it, to watch this thing flow and flow, it continually ooze out and jet out is outstanding. It's really something that the cavemen probably watched, you know, however many thousands of years ago. You know, there's something about it that just hits you in the heart, hits you in the stomach. It's a visceral experience to watch this. You know, it's so organic. It's the birth of the earth.
And a side note to the change in the eruption. Although it does appear as if the homes in Kalapana Gardens will be spared for the time being, it looks like the rest of the island will have to endure increased fog. That's because the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory says the new fissure is emitting 10,000 tons of SO2 a day. Tim Bryan, Big Island Video News.
Alrighty. Thank you for watching. Hotel, good morning. Asara Seteparama out at you.
still bringing you my findings. This is a observe and report segment that is actually a courtesy warning to the inhabitants of the planet Earth. This is to let you all know that, again, our behavior on the Earth has put us in dire straits. The Earth has targeted the human species because of our disrespect for her and because of our disrespect for each other, and because of the fact that the Earth is a living entity that is very, very wise and way superior over us. It's almost like a flea to a dog, okay, or a mosquito to you. When you see a mosquito sucking the blood out of your vein, you eventually gonna smack the hell out of it. This is what's going on now. The parasites are starting to get smacked. All right, now I'm saying this to you because I want you to understand something. I am not in no way, shape, form, or fashion trying to implement any type of continuance of the hatred and the corruption and the oppression that's on the earth right now. What I'm doing is showing everyone what part we all played in contributing to the perpetuation, the establishment, the inducing and the conducing of the system. If every corrupt entity on the planet was eradicated tonight, the mindsets of the people on the planet will still keep the machine alive. You do not need the start-up process started over. The machine is running. It will continue to run until you turn it off in your world yourself. And the only way you can do that is by being honest. Excuse me. Oh, sorry about that. But you guys can spare me a minute, right? Have to be honest with yourself. Okay, you do. The last segment we was watching, we left with the boat going into the water. So that's the reason why I left with the boat going into the water and came right back here to this fire, back in Hawaii, because that's what I wanted to be talking about. Now I want you to listen to what this man says right here. And then I want you to remember to what I said about the world having sacred ground. And people were told, this is sacred ground. We never built here because this is the land of the ancestors. And we have been forbidden to do anything. The Hawaiian people had shrines with stones that they would stack on each other. I've seen someone when I was there. And this is really the truth. Those stones I was telling you about right now. When I was there, I saw those stones in a lot of places. It was obvious they had built shrines and shrouds. And they were telling everyone that you shouldn't walk over here. That's why the rocks be put there. And the rocks even sometime on the ground be laid out in a circle formation to let you know where the perimeter was of the shroud or the shrine. I swear you, it never failed. Black people come to the island, they respect that. When they see it, they're spiritual enough to understand, oh, don't go in there. They can see it. And then when they see the rocks and everything and they see the stone shroud, they can understand through their observing of that what the Hawaiian people was trying to get. And the Hawaiian people be standing around looking at you too to see if you respect that. Do you know, for some reason, the spirituality in the Caucasian people make them overlook that all the time. They never see the barrier to that place that the Hawaiian people had implemented. But any other people with melanin would see it right away and they could be walking toward it and they'll just stop right in their track like, oh shit, this is a shroud. They would know spiritually. But the Hawaiian people have to be told, bruh, you shouldn't be in there. Or I just wanted to put a flower up here, take a picture with my girl. But don't you see the rocks on the ground right there? You did see all the rocks that made a circle around that, didn't you? Well, did your mind perceive that maybe those rocks were kind of like, see, white people would need yellow caution and signs and shit that says, don't go in there and beware and the police will shoot your ass, all that stuff. Nothing natural. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just showing you, like I said, observe and report. I observed that when I was in Hawaii. And it's not that the Europeans were trying to be rude. I don't think it's just that their perception just overlooked the intricacy of, you know, you might go somewhere where other people live, and if you're going to go there, read up and find out about shit. Just like somebody come here and do something and you say, well, they should have learned, and well, same thing. All right, listen to this. Sacred land is sacred land. You can't take land from people and expect the earth not to retaliate for you. When the earth gives something to someone, she means it. And now when the universe gives someone authority or something, then now that's a whole different, because see, the universe means that earth is involved with that. So if the universe say, well, you know, they've been fucking up on earth, let's send this guy down there and let him fix the earth, then it's final. Especially if this guy brings a fleet of starships with him. Now see, I'm just saying that because I know a lot of people gonna be saying, well, he's a nigger. No. See, that's where you're gonna make a mistake, because see, that kind of thinking is what messed everything up in the first place. Now just listen to this.
Well, lava flowing from Hawaii's Kilauea volcano has destroyed the last remaining home in a neighborhood under siege. The red-hot lava snaked down a hill, burning up everything along the way. It finally destroyed the house where the owner had lived for 30 years. Lava had already destroyed other homes and roads. Now the entire subdivision is virtually wiped out.
It wasn't any indication at all that there would be this coming down, let alone for 30 years. This is the second house I've had in this subdivision, so I've been on this mountain about 40 years. I think it's about the end of it. I don't think anybody will be living up here anymore.
Now you know me. I heard what he said about that snake. He said it, excuse me, came down the hill like a snake. It snaked down that hill, or it sneaked down the hill. Let's see what they said. That was pretty interesting to me, that they would say snake or sneak. Either way, it's the actions of fire. But it's not really sneaking. But it do creep like somebody being sneaky, you know what I mean? But it's really bold and out front with the smoke and the light and everything. You can't say that's somebody trying to be sneaky when you make that stuff that obviously illuminated as well as able to be smelled, okay? And then you have heat too, so a fire is not trying to be sneaky. Actually, a fire is just really bold and right in your face, like, okay, here I come. This is me. It's on and cracking. That's pretty much what fire say. Now you watch this video again, you know me, because I want you to see how the fire actually snakes along. And think about that serpent power energy that I tell you that's in the ground under the personification of the goddess Segmet and the goddess Hathor. The goddess Hathor represents our universe encapsulation. That means that wherever there's anything, it's all contained in this universal uterus that I always talk about. And that universal uterus is Hathor. It's the Greek name that was plagiarized and stolen from the ancient Kemetic goddess, whose name is Het-Heru. Het-Heru is the representation of the cow goddess that you see lying over the man. See, when they plagiarize the story from Egypt, the reason why everything is synonymous with the cow is because of the cow's udder and the ability for the mother cow lactating heavily to produce enough milk to feed a calf that is growing so rapidly. See, a baby calf, every person that's know anything about the growth cycle of a cow knows that a cow from a baby, it puts on weight so rapidly and so quick. And the reason why is because that milk that the mother produces for her offspring is chock full of body waste, mad fats from the grasses and stuff she's been eating, that's full of insects and everything you can imagine. Feces too sometimes if they're not paying attention. But all this stuff they eat turns into all type of microscopic poisons and stuff that's in their body that their body gets rid of. What does not lead the body through the natural process of elimination ends up in the udder. That's for the child, because they know that child needs to grow up and build muscle and body fat real fast. This is the reason why human beings should not be consuming milk, because it's not made for people, it's made for calves. And if you are not a calf, you should not be drinking it. If you want to drink milk, it should be human milk or some type of synthetic milk, which is still bad because now you're drinking something that's processed. And I'm guilty of that myself, but sometimes in this world you have to, I mean, it's everywhere. Some way you're going to do something that's detrimental because that's the way our world is. Our world is contaminated. Real simple. But my point is that Heteru, being the universal mother, is always coming under the depiction of a cow. Now you always can see horns on all of these ancient Kemetic goddesses. They always have horns, as well as the males will have zoomorphic personification with horns on their head as well, like the god Amen. I'm sure I'm right. I'm not even going to try to say which one it is, but I'm sure that you all can see the picture in your head. Even the Baphomet thing that the Illuminati uses to perpetuate their devil worship is a plagiarized icon that was taken from the ancient Kemetic, and you can see the rams in there. From the ram, meaning the male being able to sire many, all fertility, all abundance, all recycle, regeneration. That's all it means. They plagiarized that and made it wrong. Now they give you Jesus born in a manger, and every time you see Jesus born in a manger, what does he have? The sun disk over his head, which is the same sun disk you see with all the ancient Kemetic gods and goddesses. They get out to Jesus, put him and throw it in there with him too. Then they give you the star of a set. You'll see that in there with him. And then to show you my story is true, they would throw the cow in there too. And you see the cow in the manger. And the cow is in there looking at Jesus too. So see, they plagiarized all that stuff from the ancient Kemetic story of the child Heru being born to the goddess of Set. And later the story left Kemet and was in Ethiopia, which it was probably in Ethiopia first because Kemet came from Ethiopia. So the people who went into Kemet actually were the people who left Ethiopia. So the way I'm seeing it is that the version of Yeshua being born in Ethiopia in a cave, not in Jerusalem, in no manger. They stole. Now see, there was the personification that came first with the ancient Kemetians, with the goddess Aset and her son Heru. And then that's where the whole suckling thing comes from, with the child sitting on the mother's suckling. And then later became the story of Yeshua, the same story with his mother goddess and the birth of him. But this was the Ethiopia version, but it was still synonymous with the Kemetic version. The dramatic change of it all was when the story by the Europeans came along, where the only Immaculate Conception that held any true barrier after that was theirs, because they claimed the title of this being the only personification of God ever on earth and the only person that can claim to be that. Well, guess what? It's not true. Alright, we're going to move on with this. I want you to watch the serpentine fire. Watch how I tell you this energy is what's in the earth and what permeates from the earth. And the sunlight goes through the top of your head, through your body, through your feet. A complete conducive right into the ground. And at the same time, it comes back through the ground, goes back up through your body, goes back up out your head, and back up to the sun. All the time. All the time, that's what's going on. I just thought I'd share that with you.
The lava flowing from Hawaii's Kilauea volcano has destroyed the last remaining home in a neighborhood under siege. The red-hot lava snaked down a hill, burning up everything along the way. It finally destroyed the house where the owner had lived for 30 years. Lava had already destroyed other homes and roads. Now the entire subdivision is virtually wiped out.
It wasn't any indication at all that there would be this coming down, let alone for 30 years. This is the second house I've had in this subdivision, so I've been on this mountain about 40 years. I think it's about the end of it. I don't think anybody will be living up here anymore.
See, should have listened to them Hawaiians. See, that's where you messed up at. They were like, no, no, no. But nobody listened. They still took their ass up there and put them houses up there. And then he sits here and tell you himself, well, this is my second one. And after 30 years, so I mean, one thing we can say about him, he's a trooper, so don't get me wrong. I ain't mad at him. But my thing is, when you are so diligent at doing something that you know is wrong, because first of all, you're taking the land from someone else. And then second of all, you know it's a risk because you're putting land at a place where you're putting your house on lava rock. So it should say, okay, lava rock. That means that the earth sends fire through here every now and then. Imagine that. So when I build my house here, the fire might come back. Because see, the fire came through here before. So now, if the fire came through here before, and I live on an earth that spins all the time, constantly, now maybe I should see this as a signal. Because it could be some type of spiral. You know, I'm willing to bet you that the same fire that came here and left this lava rock right here, George, I bet you, George, that same damn fire that left this lava here the first time could come back. What you think? Listen, typical white people. What's the chance of that? Well, you, sir, did it 2 times. Now, wait, hold it, wait. Now, I'm going to have to clown him. Because, see, first of all, the local said, this is our land. Why are you here? Well, we want to do. But, see, you can't, because this is our land. Hit it, pow, pow, shooting, hang, all the stuff that make people get afraid. Did that. Implemented, I'm going to be here anyway. So then it's like, the other factor about there's another rock here. That means that there used to be fire here. What if the fire come back? Oh, well, see, we got Jesus. Jesus will protect us. Okay. So you go in, you build these houses, and then your friends come, and then next thing you know, all your asses sitting there with a little white ass community that you don't want the Hawaiian people to come into unless they're your servants. You don't want nobody getting nothing off the fruit trees anymore. All the animals that was there when you got there, they dead now. And then, sir, you have the audacity to sit there and say, oh, this is the second one. Now, I'm going to say it was a tad bit psychotic. Just a tad bit. Because after the first house burnt up, and after all the circumstances of how that first house got erected there, and all of the atrocious, ungodly actions that had to go on, you should have thought after the first house, maybe karma is getting in my ass. I'm getting the hell out of here. Oh, no. But wait, it gets better for you, sir. After all the other houses burnt up and your last house was there by itself, that made your ass really have an ego, I'm sure. The gods must be with me. No. See, what happened was the spirit world was having fun with your ass. They were saying, now I'm going to see if this man to be smart enough to know right now that this would probably be a good time to say thank you to the spirit and pack up and get my ass out of here. No, sir. No. For a long time you was telling people about the miraculous story where all the houses got burnt up but your one. And that's a good thing. I can understand that. But see, what I want to point out to the world is that the universe always gives us little signals and things that we should pay attention to. But if we got our heads stuck on foolishness, like these movies they give us to watch, and all the complications of surviving, that you have to preoccupy yourself so much with working hard and going through so much bullshit just to be able to fend for yourself. This is how that type of attitude can be manifested in a person, and a person will forget that there is a spiritual force around you that is abiding, and believe it or not, you will abide to it. I don't care what no one said, you will abide to the spiritual force, because it might just, it could be the sun pointing guns at your ass, and you'd be like, damn, what the fuck? How is the sun pointing a gun at me? I don't understand that. Well, if the sun so far away can point a projection, if the sun, as far away as it is, can point something at the earth, is to say, I see what you're doing. You better stop your shit. That's my daughter. Okay, stop treating her like that. I'm sick of that. Now that's what that is. That's the same type of warning that this man had right here when his first house got burned up. But no, no. Your ass get 3. Cause see, I'm just gonna tell you how it is. That was some stupid ass ego shit for you to end up losing 2 houses out there. But I'm going to tell your ass something. You are a trooper. Because you wanted to live out there, and against all that shit, you lived out there 30 years. So see, you proved to the world that if a person put their mind to something and really want it bad enough, they can pull it out. But here's the problem. That whole 30 years, you lived in constant fear that what eventually ended up happening, would happen, did happen. See, that's the reason why we need to control our thoughts. Because when you first started thinking about building a house out there and you knew the circumstances that gave you the opportunity to do that, that's when your ass should have been listening to what you was thinking about doing and said, no, I'm not going to do that because there's bad karma behind that. See, that's what I mean by perception and reaction. And this is why they sent me here to talk to you people here on earth. Because I've been doing this a long time. That's why I'm so tired. And it's just really, ignorance really bugs me. That's why I will not hesitate to make ignorance be eradicated off this planet. This planet is so destroyed that I have already told the thumpers to eradicate just any type of opposition at all is to be totally eradicated. Those are the rules. I'm letting you know that right now. I'm letting you know that right now. Zero tolerance to any opposition. And that ain't no tyrant shit. That is a straight up reaction to tyranny. And it don't matter if I'm going to be a tyrant anyway, because ain't nobody going to be able to do a damn thing to me. And I already know that. But I'm giving you guys the rules. The rules are that God's planet will be restored to a God calibration. And all you Jesus people that went around the world doing all those crusades and shit, understand this. You already owe. Don't add any more debt to that credit card. Already full, maxed out already. I'm telling you right now. Don't be sitting around here with that bullshit thinking that your Bible privileges to keep hating is going to be giving your ass the strength necessary to stand up to this judgment proclamation I'm getting at you with right now. Because all that stuff in that book ain't did nothing but made your ass become a serious recipient of some serious ass hellish conditions. Please understand that. So as it keep raining, that's just for vegetation growth. I already told you guys that. So is that serious? That's why we don't need to be adding more karma. Like this guy did after his house burned down burned up the first time. And then the poor guy wanted to live there so bad, he built again. Alrighty. I guess we will give it to his ass for persistence. Okay. Hotel. Okay, now you guys remember the volcano colors? See, I want you to look at these colors right here. Alright? It's very important that we pay attention to the colors, because the colors are synonymous with the colors that you see in the volcano. Now, I want to point something out to you guys. When I tell you that I have 2 other natters on this planet with me, I want to introduce them to you. Here they go right here. See? There they go. They live underground in the fire. Now, the Hawaiian people call the fire, the fire goddess Pele. Now, we all know that I've been always expressing to you that you gotta have male and female polarities in anything. Even if it's a single thing, it has both polarities. So let me explain to you how that works. You see, this tail right here is also a cosmic uterus. That's what these blue things are right here. Those are uteruses. Okay, they are what we call here on Earth, ankhs. But what they are is they are tree of lives. They are the tree of life. They have both polarities, male and female polarities. Plus the offspring polarities. I always say 3 polarities, but what I mean is 2 polarities, but a combined polarity, which is a trinity. I always try to keep my mind focused on trinities because I know 1 became 3, but before 1 became 3, 1 became 2, but those 2 were still 1. So you jump from 1 to 3, but then there's always 2, but then there's 3. Try to understand that. See, there's 2 polarities in the middle because there's sexes of male and female gender. That means that the uterus and the testicles makes that 2. Do you understand what I'm saying? But see, those 2 always be 3 because they're either connected to the phallus or the uterus. So you'll have 2 testicles connected